the client was with me, said, "Hey, there's a wasp nest." When I saw it, I turned around and started to run, and I ran over her. Actually, I had to hold her up to keep her from hitting the ground. I'm not going to sell you a house that I wouldn't let my daughter live in. It tends to come back to you when you do the right thing. Somebody notices it, so it's coming back to you.
Hello, and thanks for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast today. Or if you're watching on the Blue Collar Leadership YouTube channel, thanks for being here. Think about subscribing. Check out the other videos in this Real People Getting Real Results series. There's some really cool stuff from a lot of different kind of people with all different kind of backgrounds, doing all different kind of things at all different kind of levels. So that's what this series is about. And got a special guest today, Mr. Steve Gaither from over in Prattville, Alabama. Welcome to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast and the Real People Getting Real Results show.
Yes, sir.
Steve.
Thanks for having me.
Man, it's awesome to have you on here because we go way back, me and you.
We do.
Yeah. You remember how we met or how we come to know each other? I'm pretty sure you know in general, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, basically through school and mutual friends, the Marines.
Yeah, high school, yeah.
High school, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had a mutual friend, Brent Parker. You and him were really close friends after I graduated ahead of you guys and went in the Marines, and you guys were really good friends.
Yeah.
And that's probably how we got to be the closest was when I got back. We all three became friends, pretty close friends. So you got a special guest with you that might introduce himself randomly.
I do. I have my dog Riley. He will bark uncontrollably at any minute, so be prepared.
He thinks I'm a threat. I think we're friends now, me and Riley. Yeah. He seems to be all right. He didn't like it when we first started talking. He thought there was a ghost in the house.
Yeah, it's some kind of noise he's not familiar with, so he's gonna go into fight mode.
Well, that's pretty cool. So you and I, we've been friends for a long time, but we got back, as a lot of people do as they become adults and quit doing what they used to do, and they get their own personal life going and growing and get a family and all that kind of stuff. We kind of didn't talk a lot for a lot of years, and then you made a pretty significant transition. I guess that's somehow we got really back connected during that. You remember that part?
I do. I took a leap of faith and just jumped out of the blue collar world into the white collar world. And
what year was that? You remember?
It was 2015.
Okay, I was thinking 15 or 16 was when we really got back connected really strong. What were you doing? Actually, what's your blue collar background before we get into that? Because you're still a blue collar guy.
I'm blue collar. I like all things mechanical. So I worked in a factory. I've got an industrial maintenance background, and then my wife is an occupational therapist, and when she got licensed, it afforded me the chance to go try something that I really liked, which was power sports, ATVs, motorcycles, personal watercraft, things like that. So I started working in a power sports business in Montgomery, Adams Motorsports.
Okay. And what were you doing there?
I started out in parts and ended up being the service manager for the past 7 years of it.
Oh, okay. So I have forgot about that part. I just remembered that you worked at the parts counter. And was that the parts counter for the public and the mechanics, or just the mechanics?
All of it.
Everything's all the same there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's pretty neat. So then, service manager, you became the leader of the mechanics and then the parts counter guy and all that kind of stuff, or what?
Just over the service department in general.
And you did that for how many years?
7.
Yeah. What was that like? Headache? Fun?
It's fun. It's challenging. It's you learn a lot about people doing it and how to interact with people. I think it gives you an opportunity to put yourself on either side of that counter to always, some people get real defensive with it, but you have to put yourself in the customer's shoes and understand where they're coming from. So it helps you become a good listener.
Yeah. And you were in the infantry Marine unit as well, right?
Correct.
And And you guys, you and Brent, y'all went over to Iraq.
Yeah.
What was that? 91.
91. Yeah. I turned 20 years old over there.
Yeah. Y'all got it. I remember y'all got some good tans while you was over there.
We did.
We ain't gonna talk about what they look like, but there's a couple pictures I remember back from the day. Y'all got creative with your tan once everything was over, and y'all just kind of hanging around in the desert waiting to come home for a month.
Yeah, they were pretty impressive.
Y'all had to get creative. So you got your blue collar background, did that for many years up until 2015, and then what happened? How did it? Talk about what happened before me and you really started talking, because something happened and you just completely changed career all just out of the blue. Not
I did. Well,
it might not be out of the blue to you.
Well, you know, the service industry, to me, it kind of has a peak, or at least it did where I was, and I wanted to do something different a little more. So actually, the lady that was my realtor when I bought the house I'm living in now, her name's Talia Porterfield. She put an ad on Facebook about needing some help. So I started talking to her about it, and then she introduced me to some other people, and I decided to do the real estate course. And you know, it was like $350 at the time, and you know, you could use it or not use it. It's well worth $350 for the education that you get.
Yeah,
with it. So
anybody could do that that wanted to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you just did that, not really knowing what was going to happen afterward, but you nothing mattered to you, went and completed that.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to lose, so I figured I'd try it. So once I did it, I kind of developed a relationship with the people where I took the class at, and as I went through the class and the I guess you would call it an exit test right before you take a state exam, I did that, and they asked me, hey, if you want to pursue it, you know, we'd like to have you come work with us. So I ended up getting licensed and going to work where I'm at now.
So how long did that process take from the time you were service manager to saying, well, I'm gonna go take this test? How long before you resigned? How long did all that take?
About 5 months.
5 months to take the test, to mentally decide, hey, I'm gonna pull the plug and give it a shot.
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of part-time realtors that have other jobs and do that too. And I don't think you're going to get a good result by putting half your time into it. So I just quit and jumped in it with both feet.
You want to go gung ho. So go ahead.
Oh, I said that's it. I just hit the ground running.
So up to that point, had you read any personal growth, leadership development books, that sort of thing in your life?
Yeah, I think we were outside of Adams Motorsports and we were talking. We ended up going to dinner one night, and you informed me about the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So I picked up the book and I started reading that.
Oh, okay.
You introduced me to a few other ones that were sales related. I think it's To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink.
Yeah.
I got the most from that one. And I don't like to start a book and have to put it down. It was kind of long.
Yeah.
So I kind of just sit there and read it from start to finish. So that's one thing I like about your books. I can get them done fast, and you get all the info jammed into something where you can understand it. So.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the guys I interviewed, Renee Duron, he says it's my books, the books Rhea and I write, they've got all the stuff without the fluff.
That's true. And it's easy to pick it up and start and finish it and not have to take 3 or 4 days to do it.
Yeah. So you helping bring my memory back, because I thought I introduced the 7 habits to you after you left, and then you were starting to grow. So, but I had stopped by to see you, just probably because I was in the area, and just stopped by to say hello because I knew you was down there, and then we got connected up for dinner or something, and we talked about the 7 habits and all the stuff I've been reading and all the things I've been doing. So you were introduced to that book. How far before you even thought about doing the realty stuff, or were you already thinking about it?
It was like right in the middle of it. I think I was still in real estate school when we did that.
Oh, that's why I'm tying it all together like that, because it actually was during that time period. And so
it was in my growing part, or my, you know, I'm gonna take this test and figure out if I want to try this full time or not. So.
Oh yeah, and I was starting to tell you that that book will give you some tips on how to excel in any job and at home.
Yeah.
So, and you ain't got to share nothing you don't want to share, but I've just always asked folks this type content, especially the 7 habits, when you got into that, because for people who don't know, that's the book changed my life. And it wasn't even the whole book. It was a 1-hour audio highlight version that someone gave me in 2005. I didn't even listen to it till 2008. And I was 39 years old when I did. Today I'm 54, but that changed my life. That really changed my life, not just professionally, but also personally. But can you share just how that book, we'll talk about other books, in a minute, but how did that book change you personally or professionally? Anything you want to share?
I wish I could tell you. I guess I kind of need a refresher course on that book, but that's probably the first book that I actually read past the high school points.
Okay.
But consistency, transparency, do the right thing. And it's, I can't think of the name of it, but if you do the same thing every day and increase on it little at a time, eventually you're somewhere you didn't think you would be. And really don't know how you got there.
Yep. So did it change your relationships with people personally or at work, your family, or people, just friends, or do you recall any of that kind of transition in your relationships?
I want to say yes, but I don't know if I could actually tie it to the book.
Okay.
But I can definitely remember when I was reading the book and applying some of this stuff, I can see where it works. Some of it I was already doing and not, had no idea it was related, but
yeah, that's what I saw when I got into that book. I saw, well, a lot of this stuff I'm doing good. And then I see some other stuff like, I ain't thought about this, but everything else the guy said makes sense. Maybe I ought to try that too. I know for me, the pause button, learning to pause and choose my response. So you know me. That's one cool thing about interviewing you is you probably know more about how. Go ahead.
I know where you were.
Yeah, you probably know more about how it impacted me than it impacted you. Because the idiot that I used to be, really, really good. That idiot.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I tell them I used to be an idiot, and they laugh. They're like, "No, though, you know better." Tell them it's the truth, Steve.
It's the truth.
So that's the good old days, what I call them, when I could act the idiot and it didn't matter. But once I learned so much, I couldn't be that same person. So fast forward, you got into the real estate. That was 2015. You did all that.
Yeah.
Was that also the end of the 5 months when you resigned and started as a full-time realtor? Was that also 2015 or was that into 2016?
Yeah, it was actually 2015. It was I want to say July, August. I walked in the door and told them I appreciate everything they've done for me. That they were really good to me there.
Yeah.
And I hated to leave, and I know it put them in a bind, but they can always call me for help. If they need something, I'm there for them. But yeah, I walked in there and said, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do." And people that knew me and knew my background said there's an epic failure on the horizon. There's no way this guy's going to do this. But
that ain't what I was telling you though. I was telling you you're going to kill it. But a lot of people you knew were doubting you, right? They were trying to plant that seed of doubt.
Because it's so far to the left from anything I've ever done in my life. I mean, I can't pick up a tool, a wrench, or pliers or something like that and sell a house. I can do anything else with them, but not that. And that was my comfort zone.
Yeah. And so you may have already known this, but without a doubt, you and I talk sometimes, and this today 100%, but it's all about relationships. That's relationships and integrity, probably doing what you say you're going to do and above and beyond, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
talk about those things that you believe in that actually allowed you to become successful, because you did become successful. You're in a really, really good spot. You got all kind of stuff going on. I ain't going to share nothing. I'll let you share whatever you want to share, but I know you've been successful. All those doubters, you proved them wrong. Like that's what good Marines do. They make stuff happen.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to prove anybody wrong. I was trying to prove myself right. So.
There you go. So what things what allowed you to do that? What kind of character traits you think that you possessed that allowed you to succeed?
I really don't know if there's just one, other than if I'm going to do something, I want to be the best I can be at it. And if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I don't know how to do it, I'm going to dig into whatever I can to find out how to do it, or ask for help. Or, to me, teamwork is the biggest thing. And where I work now, everybody works so good together. And I think that's a lot of the reason I had the success I've got, is because I picked a good place to work and everybody was focused on helping everybody else, not helping theirself.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to share the name, or you don't want to share where you work?
Yeah, it's Exit Realty Preferred. Suzanne Zimmelman and Troy Zimmelman, they own the company. Martha Doyle's a broker. We've got Rachel Haslett, Melissa Burge, Angela McGonigal. There's been some that have come and gone. Rayla Drodas, for one of them, we work really good together. I sure miss working with her. She was certainly fun to work with. But it's, if everybody's pulling in the same direction, you're gonna get what you want. So.
Yeah, and you guys as a team seem to really be doing that well, and you're free to share, about the company much as you want. If you want to do any type of recruiting for you guys, you're welcome to share any of that. If somebody, however that would work, if somebody's in your area actually was interested, that you can definitely share anything about Exit and your role there and how it all works. This show's about real people getting real results, and that company has allowed you to get some really good results because of who they are and who you are.
Yeah. And it's help somebody. Somebody helped me, so I don't mind helping anybody else. A lady that works out of the office with us, I met her showing her and her family a home, and she mentioned the real estate school, and I didn't know her from anybody. So I'm like, if you want to do it, I can give you all the information I've got to help you get started. And we've become pretty close, and now we work together, and it's just about building relationships.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool because you after one point you were able to influence us to actually come in and speak to everybody from the Alabama team and everybody from the Mississippi team, and a lot of people that I meet today, I tell them the story because when we were going to come speak, we didn't really have a sales book. All these principles that we talk about apply to everybody, whether you're in sales or whether you're a service manager in a motorcycle shop, ATV shop. But I told the folks that we could, Rhea and I can write books really quick because the stuff's just in here. It just comes out. So
yeah,
we had a few months, I think, before we spoke to the two groups. And so I come up and I wrote, who's buying you?
Yeah.
Until you sell yourself, you won't sell much.
Yeah. That's my favorite book.
You like that book?
I do. I've loaned it out. I've given one away, and I recommend it to people all the time. If you want to sell something, there's more to it than numbers and statistics and getting your paycheck. So
yeah, so I wrote that book out, got it finished, finalized, and we gave hundreds of copies. However many people, everybody there got a copy, and we talked on content, related to that book. Is anything about the book you remember that stood out to you, or anything that aligns with who you are, how you do? I know you've told me some good stories. I don't know if you realize they align with the stuff in the book, but you may not be doing it.
I'm not sure how it fits. That's just what I do.
So tell me. So you ain't even got to talk about the book because the book teaches what you actually do. So can you share some of the things that make you successful? Like, what does some of those things look like? Any stories you got that where you build a lot of trust, or you went up above and beyond doing things, anything like that you can share? And you don't have to share names if you share stories, but you can if you want to.
Well, I've got so many, but I like to always look for the win in a situation, whether I'm the loser or not. As long as somebody's winning or more than one person wins, then that's it. It's just the right thing to do. And I can tell you the last one that happened to me, I think we talked about it the last time we talked on the phone, where sometimes people have, certain types of debts, tax debts, things like that. And when you go to sell a home or something significant like that, it's going to follow you. They're going to find it. The government is going to get their money one way or the other. So we're almost to closing on this home, and the seller didn't have a lot of funds to do the right thing. So a lot of the stuff was, cosmetic or something like that. So me with my blue collar black background, I knew how to do some of this stuff, and it was okay. So I took care of some of the repairs for it. And when we got ready to close about 2 or 3 days before it, weren't going to be able to close because there was a significant tax debt owed and there was no money there. So versus throwing the whole deal in the trash can and this person stuck with foreclosure, another buyer on that side with probably $1,500 worth of home inspections and appraisals into the thing, we could have just walked away and
that would have been normal. Probably
I wasn't getting paid anyway. So I'm like, I can forego my commission and it'll take care of this tax debt. These people can buy the home and everybody's happy at the end of the day. You've got to win out of a bad situation that was coming.
Yeah. And
hopefully for going above and beyond, that stuff tends to come back to you. When you do the right thing, somebody notices it. So it's coming back to you.
Yeah. So they were able to get the house. Everything went through.
Correct.
And you just didn't get any commission, and you done a lot of
correct. Yes.
Literal physical labor.
That's one of those things where you have the best intentions and it ends up costing you up front, but I guarantee you it's coming back on the end of it, at the end of it.
Yeah. And I mean, you're getting value out of it right now just by sharing it. I'm getting value out of it by you sharing it, because even if people are not in the real estate industry, everybody's always got the opportunity to do the right thing in life, in all kinds of situations. That's the principle that you're sharing there.
Yeah, that's huge. And I'm human, so I make mistakes, and I don't mind paying for my mistakes. And sometimes you get to pay for other people's mistakes, and I don't mind that either, as long as the people I'm helping get the outcome that they're expecting me to get them.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like you said before, you might not can tie it right to the book, but you think of habit 4 from the 7 habits is think win-win. And that's, you just gave a lesson in a story form of thinking win-win. Everybody wins, because everybody did win. You talked about you won because you actually got to help the people. I've heard you talk so much. That's the underlying thing about you. Every time we talk is you want to help people. You want to help people get a house, right? Talk about how you talk to me about that a little bit, because that's you. There's something about helping people get a house that gets you fired up.
And man, you put me on the spot. There's so many different things that come to mind. I mean,
just tell me a story.
You've got to pick a story. I'll tell it.
Oh, I got to pick a story. Well, I was just trying to think, because I remember you always saying, I just want to help people get a home, especially like first time home buyers. That's got to be, I ain't a real estate agent, but to me, can you share any stories about somebody you helped get their first home, how it just made you feel? Because it's got to be a big deal for you and definitely for them.
It is a big deal. And so many people come into it with no knowledge of what you're supposed to do. And to me, I want you to know everything there is about it. I'll tell you everything you want to know about real estate, from this is how commission splits work to this is what my split looks like. This is what my broker charges me. Just things like that somebody doesn't know. And I don't want to help somebody. I'm not a salesman. Let me start with that. I'm a realtor, not a salesman.
I like it. So that's what you told me the other day. I like. Tell me about that.
Yeah, the difference in a realtor and a salesman with a realtor's license.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, so I don't go into helping somebody find a home with my commission in mind. I want to help them find the best home they can that's within their budget, that they're going to be happy with, that they're going to be safe in. And I tell people this right off the bat when I meet them. I'm not going to sell you a house that I wouldn't let my daughter live in. If I don't think my own family would be safe there, I'm not going to help you get there. I mean, I'm going to educate you the best I can with the tools I have to keep you from making what I think may be a potential mistake for you.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And that kind of stuff you're talking about, that's what the Who's Buying You book that I wrote is full of, all that kind of character-based selling,
Yeah.
right? Looking out for
Yeah.
for the other people, for the buyer, not being the it's all about me, the seller. It's actually, when you're selling with character, it's all about the buyer. Long-term selling and short-term selling.
Yeah. Yeah. If you do the right thing, the money's going to come. I mean, you always do more than is expected of you.
Yeah. And you've grown and become successful. And again, you ain't got to share about this if you don't want to, but you got your, I call it a little side hustle you got going, your business, but it's still related to real estate. Can you share about that? Are you willing to, or no?
If you'll remind me what it is. Yeah.
Well, just you do a lot of you manage some properties.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we had an investor that was looking for a home over here. We helped him buy it, and he was looking for somebody to manage the property. And for this man to get the kind of service that I think he deserves, I took on that role myself. So I started learning about property management. So I started out with his one home, then his son bought a home, and now I think I've got about 20 homes that I manage.
Wow.
For investors or homeowners. Some of it is military families or something. They'll buy and they want the property to be an investment property. So when they get ready to PCS or go on to their next station or whatever, I'll end up managing their rental for them also.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you basically created, I guess that's almost like a business for yourself.
Yeah, a business within a business, I guess.
Yeah, because it's tied with the real estate industry. So in a way, it's kind of all the same, but at the same time, it's a separate. It's just like something you're doing through it's your business basically. You're a one-man show doing that. Is that right or wrong?
It's still through my brokerage.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yes.
I didn't understand that. Okay.
Yeah, it still has to go through my brokerage, but 99% of the responsibility is on me.
I got you. So it's like a partnership through them with you.
Correct. Yeah,
I got you. I didn't understand.
The owner pays a certain percentage to have his property management.
I got you. Okay,
I'm,
so that's cool.
I'm the guy on the ground that puts the tenant in the home, that takes care of the repairs, that type of stuff.
I got you. So I didn't really understand how all that works because I ain't in that space. But yeah, so that makes perfect sense. So you got a full plate.
Yeah, it can be good some days. It can be bad some days. When you have storms or something like that come through, you got to make sure the owner's investment is protected or taken care of.
So you've shared a lot just through your stories, but I'm always thinking leadership principles and character-based principles when I'm talking to anybody. It's just how my mind works. And one of the things you've been talking about without saying it several times, and you may have even said it back earlier, and I don't recall it, but you've been talking a lot about getting outside of your comfort zone. And we always say, all of our growth happens outside of our comfort zone. You agree that choosing to become uncomfortable in many areas of your life that actually allowed you to grow, but it was uncomfortable. Can you speak to the young folks out there who maybe just graduating high school or college, and just how important understanding that principle of get outside your comfort zone to grow is?
Yeah, that's where you find out who you are. When you're like right now, I'm uncomfortable as can be. Be it on this camera.
You uncomfortable doing this interview, right?
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable.
So you are uncomfortable, but why did you choose to do it? Knowing, because I could tell when I first got on and you and Rio were talking, people didn't see this, but I was like, man, is somebody holding him hostage?
Yeah, my dog.
Your dog
Yeah.
still holding you hostage.
Yeah, he's still. I'm waiting for the breakout any minute.
But what caused you to choose to do this? There's something in you that caused you to get outside your comfort zone and say, yeah, man, since you asked, I'll get on there and do an interview. It wasn't like you were just going crazy to come do this. What caused you to actually do it? What on the inside?
I honestly, I don't know. You've helped me so much with it, more so than with the book recommendations and just the conversations that we've had with it. I feel like I owe you. So if I have a debt, I want to pay it. Not necessarily that I owed you, but you invited me, and I want to make you proud and come on here and do the best I can for you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And that's why people get on here with me, is they helping me help other people through their story. And I mean, just your story may give somebody courage, somebody who maybe has been struggling financially. You may give them the courage to think about real estate, or you may just inspire them. They may not have ever even thought about it because they're blue collar folks. They may not have ever even thought about it. So without, you ain't got to share numbers. I assume you don't want to, but you could if you want to. But just in a general concept, since you stepped away from that blue collar job and that blue collar career and went into this real estate job that you knew nothing about, which was in 2015. So that's, this would be the 9th year. At some point, your 9th year. Have you and your family, have you been financially rewarded? Meaning your life's better because you took that chance financially?
It's a fact. And when I first signed the paperwork with Exit Realty Preferred, they have a goal sheet. What's your 5-year goal? And I said, I want to pay off my house in 5 years. And, it was, at the time, seemed like an unattainable target. And I actually did it in 6. And the only reason it took 6 was because COVID happened and I wasn't sure how the market was going to play out. So I sat on it a little bit, but I'm currently debt free and I don't hate it.
That's an awesome place. Cause I tell people all the time, when you can be debt free, you got options. You got options in life. You ain't got pressure. You ain't got stress, all that kind of stuff. But so when you were service manager, you wasn't debt free then back in those days?
No, I was not.
Did you see any chance,
did I see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Of being
absolutely not. No.
Yeah. Like if I'd have talked to you in 2015 before you decided to do this, and I say, man, you think you'll have a nice house paid off in 5 years? What do you think you said?
I said, probably not. I'm not sure I'll not have a heart attack and die within 5 years.
You was loaded up with some stress.
Yeah, it's pretty, a lot of it I put on myself because I don't want to disappoint anybody. So I want to be the best me at whatever I'm going to do. So I put a lot of stress on myself anyway. So even though I'm debt free, I still have a lot of stress. I want people to be happy with what I do for them, especially if they're choosing to use me for the biggest purchase of their life.
That's awesome. Well, what would you say to somebody if somebody's listening to this out in the Prattville area, or they're moving to the Prattville, Montgomery area, the area that you service, and you may want to say which area that really is. I'm just guessing, but what would you say to somebody who's thinking about finding a broker, a real estate agent? Why should they pick you and Exit, or you and your team, however you want to say it?
Well, selling a house, we offer so much more than, and I don't want to say, it's bad for somebody else. That's the way they choose to do their business. But, we offer free staging. We, I don't want to say the top, but, we're pretty high up there as far as listing a home goes, helping someone sell a home. That's the majority of my business right there, is helping someone sell a home versus helping someone buy a home. And it's gotten to the point where I have more and more referrals from past customers or past clients to help them sell a home or buy a home. And like the past 2 have come from people I've helped 3 or 4 years back. Hey, they had a good experience. I want to know if you'll help me and my family buy a home here. So the last 2 I got, and that's, to me, those are the good ones. When somebody approaches me wanting me to help them based on what somebody else said about me. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the big point of what I talk about in the Who's Buying You book. So if anybody who's in a professional sales role, you need to check out, you can go to the link there on the screen, bluecollarleadership.com/download. And anybody interested in reading the first 5 chapters of that book can go to that link and actually read it. That's one of the huge things I talk about in there is word of mouth advertisement. The whole book is how do you generate, repeat business and also referrals.
Yeah, though the referral part, those are the ones that get you right in the heart. Like, man, somebody thought enough of me to tell somebody else about me, and now they're asking me for my help also.
And that's added pressure, right?
Yeah, it is. I don't want to disappoint anybody. in the book, man, I'm telling you, if you're in sales and you haven't picked up a book to help you, other than something that you see it a lot at maybe car dealerships or something like that. It's pretty much, here's the script you read, now go sell it, and they expect you to do it by any means necessary. And I don't agree with it. So sometimes I feel like I need to buy a box full of those books and go hand them out to people that have actually helped me purchase something.
Yeah, I know that's what really allowed me to write that book the way that I did, is not because I'm a professional salesperson, but because all the salespeople I dealt with in my life that got it wrong. All I had to do is really write the book in a way that I wish salespeople would serve me as a person who values, a high degree of character. And that's the perspective. I had one client say, they was like, Mac, I like your books and all, but when I saw you had a book on sales, it's like, I don't know. How's Mac know anything about sales? And that company is a manufacturing company. They had, I think, about 70 something people around the country in their national sales network, just for the United States. And the owner was like, how do you write a sales book? And then when he got on it, I said, because I may not be a professional salesperson, but I'm a professional buyer. I've been buying all my life, just like everybody else, right? And
yeah,
but after he went through it, he really liked it. I mean, that's why we were doing the book study with his team. They were facilitating it. And they just invited me to get on. And I would just share, anybody who's listening, since I was telling that story, if anybody wants to know how to use this book or any other book to do a what I call a high impact book study, which is really, in this case, it would be professional sales development in micro lessons. Just go to my Blue Collar Leadership Podcast, episode 305. I've got a 30-minute lesson how anybody can do that who wants to do it. So that's really cool. So you talked about what you guys do, and you also said you really focus on helping somebody sell a house.
correct.
Because some realtors do kind of 50-50, or some do one side or the other. And I'm just asking because I don't really know, but I'm just.
Yeah. I mean, I do it all, but the majority of my business is usually going to be on the listing side of a home sale.
Okay.
You've got people who are strictly buyer's agents who that's what they like to do. They like to pick up the buyer, help them find a house, get them under contract. It's
a different kind of work.
You can't have one without the other. It's just what you want to do. And I want to do everything, which is another reason I started doing property management. I think the more you know about your business, the better realtor you can be.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So what kind of advice would you have to anybody who is thinking about, who maybe watched this, who ain't even ever thought about being a real estate agent? What do they need to, like, what's some steps they need to do just to kind of learn about it?
Probably everybody out here knows at least five to 10 realtors. Find one that has the character that aligns with yours, or the beliefs you got, and just talk to them about it. And find somebody that doesn't mind helping somebody else. So many people are focused on it's mine. This is what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to do it. But nobody gets to where they're at without somebody helping them at some point. So I like to focus on, if somebody wants to learn something or know something, give them some help. I mean, I help people that don't even work for my company. So, and I don't mind it. So
yeah, that's good stuff.
If I can help somebody, that's what I'm going to do. If I can make them laugh, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. What you're talking about, helping people that's not in your company, or maybe helping somebody who's not even going to buy a house from you. They end up buying it from somebody else. Cause I know who you are. You help everybody. And that's, in leadership terms, that's abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset. Abundance says there's plenty to go around. I can help other people and I can still be successful. Scarcity mindset says I only got to help the people that's going to help me, because I got to get my part. But abundance says the more people I help, the more that's going to come back to me. And it ain't even about me, really. It's just a byproduct. A byproduct of helping people is I'm going to be okay.
Exactly.
And so, and I don't want to speak for you, but I know you gave Ria your phone number to put up. If somebody were to watch this and they just curious about anything, they'd like to talk to you, even if it ain't about buying a house, could they call you and just ask for any kind of advice or anything like that?
Absolutely can. Call, text. I'm an open book. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
And you will. That's another principle you shared on earlier. I didn't want to interrupt you, but you're very transparent. When you were talking about, I'll tell the numbers, I'll talk about the fees and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if everybody does that, but I know a lot of people, salespeople that I've dealt with, they're not very transparent.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, there's like this has always been done, so that's what people tend to do, or that's what they know. And there's so much more to it. I mean, everything's negotiable, and some people don't share that part of it because they don't want to have to be put in a situation where they negotiate. And
Yeah.
it's no different than going to buy a car. You're looking for the best deal possible, or the best salesman possible, the best fit. I mean, sometimes it's not always the cheaper one that's the best fit. It's who you fit best with.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll seek a relationship over saving $500 any day of the week.
Yeah, that's the relationship is where everything's at, and that's just a powerful side of it. When you got the relationship, that's when you get repeat business. That's when you get referrals. That's when you build trust. That's when all the good stuff happens, when you build but it takes extra work to build a relationship, doesn't it?
It does.
What's some things you do that helps you build a relationship with the sellers? Because I don't really know. I ain't a real estate person. What are just some literal things that you do, but also anybody else could do? Like if you were trying to give salespeople tips all across the nation that might end up one day watching this, what's some things you do?
It's first you got to educate yourself, and then educate.
What's that mean, real quick? What's that mean? Educate myself about what? Their house or the market, or what do you mean?
About their house, about the market, about the strategy to sell their home, about where to put their money to get the most return for it. If it's an older home and it needs some updating, some painting or carpet, it's not just, hey, go do all of this stuff. If you're working within a budget, you want them to spend the money in the right place. That's going to help them get the best return, and not spend money where it doesn't matter if you do it or not.
Yeah. Okay. Because help them get the most bang for their buck when they're actually trying to spruce up the place, get it ready to sell, right?
Absolutely. And if, and something that I do, we do where I work. Hey, if you can't do it, guess what? I've got a pair of work boots and some gloves. We're gonna go make it happen if that's what we need to do to sell your home.
That's awesome. What kind of, and I'm gonna use my word. I don't know if it's the right word, but what kind of crazy things have you done? Any things pop up from over the years that just seems like most people would think it's weird, like other real estate agents would think it's weird that you went and did this? That you could share?
From doing lawn work to trimming bushes to painting shutters, doors, cleaning out 25 years worth of clutter, to sweeping a roof off because the appraiser said it may get flagged because too much pine straw on the roof. I mean,
I love it.
There's no end to it for me. If it has to be done and I'm the one that's there, I'm going to do it. So,
and is that normal?
No.
Okay.
Not.
But
I think it should be, yeah, but that's just how I tick. So.
Yeah, that's part of that blue collar. That's part of that blue collar mindset, but it's also part of the Marine mindset. Make it happen. I'm responsible. We're gonna get this thing done, and you're part of wanting to. There's a lot of things you want to serve the customer well. You want to over deliver. You're looking. You literally look for those things. We talk about it. I talk about it in Who's Buying You, but you look for those things to actually on purpose over deliver.
Yeah, where can I help you that you're not expecting it, or that I know you're going to need the help? So,
and I may be wrong about what I'm about to say, but I think I'm probably right. You can probably validate it. But a lot of real estate folks, doesn't mean they're bad people. They just ain't over delivering, but they don't do that. But a lot of them seem like they would have time to do some of those sort of things if they actually wanted to. Because a lot of times, I don't know. I guess it depends on how many houses they're selling, but I guarantee you the ones who are not successful, who ain't selling many houses, they got all kind of time to do that kind of stuff. And that would separate them from the competition and help them. You agree with that or no?
It's just what you're willing to do. Not necessarily what somebody's forcing you to do. It's if I can do it and it's going to help somebody, then I'm going to do
it. That's good stuff. Have you had any crazy things happen that, I mean, I don't even know the question to ask, but I don't know what kind of crazy things could happen in the real estate industry, but any funny or scary or just crazy kind of things that happened you saw or something?
Walking in a home and somebody's asleep in the chair, or somebody's in the bathroom. Nobody was supposed to be home. It never ends. I've locked myself out of homes with some doorknobs. I don't care if the keys turned a certain way or whatever. It's going to lock from the outside. So I've had to climb privacy fences to get back around to the front. I've had to crawl through windows. I mean, you name it. I've had clients open a closet and a cat jumps out and they run and get in their car. You never see them again. I mean,
That's pretty wild. So
it can be funny. I've actually walked up on the front porch and the client was with me, said, "Hey, there's a wasp nest." When I saw it, I turned around and started to run, and I ran over her. Actually, I had to hold her up to keep her from hitting the ground.
Oh, you mean you had to grab her to rescue her and take her off? That's what really
I turned around to run without her in mind, and I smooth ran straight over her and had to catch her to keep her from hitting the ground.
That was good. That was back before they had Ring doorbells, I guess, or we would have saw you out on social media someplace.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been a good one. So now I bet walking into the house when ain't nobody supposed to be there, no matter where they at, if you don't know they there, that's probably pretty awkward.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward and scary. You don't know how they're going to react when you wake them up, or if they wake up. I mean, I've walked in and we've seen the whole house and somebody's asleep in the chair the whole time. They'll never flinch, but they weren't supposed to be there. So
wow. And you didn't know they were there till basically, I guess, whenever you saw them at
you knock on the door, you make the appointment to go to the home, and they'll be out of your way, and you get there and they're snoring in the chair.
Wow. So what's some of the, I know just in life in general, a lot of times some of our best lessons come from our failures. Do you have any times during your real estate career side of things that you learned a lesson from some kind of failure or something that went wrong that you might could share that would help somebody else maybe avoid that if they want to learn from you the easy way instead of messing up and doing it themselves the hard way?
Yeah, you can learn a lot just by listening to other people's failures. So, just from working in an office with a bunch of top producers, and you hear their bad stories when that kind of thing happens, it gives you a good preparation for, hey, now I know not to do that. But dealing with foreclosures or VA owned homes, sometimes like that, I've written a contract, and I wasn't real familiar with a VA foreclosure, and the lender who was actually working with the buyer saved me from making about a $2,000 mistake by saying, you know what an surety bond is, and there's one in place for this home. Did you tell the buyer? I'm like, I absolutely didn't. I have no idea what you're talking about. So we had to back up. So yes, I was about to make a big mistake, and it's one of my favorite lenders to work with, and she's been doing it a long time. Her name's Reba Curtis. She works with Trustmark. She is one of those people that she'll see it coming or no, and she doesn't mind helping somebody either. So she saved me from making a pretty big financial mistake right there.
So that was probably early on. You probably know all about that now, obviously, from that situation.
Yeah, now that happened, yeah, I probably studied it for 3 or 4 weeks, and then I've had instances where, it'll be a friend, and you put your trust in them to do something, and I don't mind taking care of certain things for them, but septic tank inspections, engineer search for mobile homes, things like that sometimes you get to pay for these things with the outcome not where you wanted them to be, or someone backs out of a deal or something like that. So yeah. And again, if I make a mistake, I don't mind telling you I made it, and I don't mind paying for it. So, and I don't mind paying for somebody else's if that's what I got to do to get the job done. So.
That's good stuff. So they were, what was the specific lesson that you said relative to your story about the, what'd you call that? Some kind of bond or something? What'd you call it?
A surety bond.
So is that the thing that right there, that somebody who's getting into real estate, is that what they need to make sure they know about? Is that, or what do they need to know about to prevent what happened with you?
Well, it's a lot of people don't like to deal with foreclosures or homes like that because there's always something behind the scenes that you don't see or you don't know. So they're a little more risky.
Okay.
So and hopefully you've chosen to work at a place that doesn't mind helping you when it comes to something like that, or they can, if somebody sees you about to make a mistake, we'll jump in and help versus let them make the mistake. I don't care. It doesn't cost me anything. But
let them learn the hard way. That don't build trust, does it?
Yeah. And I like to stay in my lane. So, if it's something I don't know about, I'm fixing to go get somebody else to help me. So,
Yeah. Okay. So that's good stuff. And the number one thing I think you shared out of all that was if you start, especially if you're new or fairly new, you need to build relationships with with the realtors in your office, the other agents, and ask them what I ask you. When some times that you messed up that you can share with me that'll help me not mess up. If somebody would just go ask everybody that question, they'd probably get a list of stuff to go learn about pretty quick.
that's as important as how do I accomplish this sale, or how do I sell a home? How can I keep from making a mistake that's going to cost somebody else some money? I don't mind paying for my own. I don't want somebody else to have to pay for a mistake I made. So,
yeah. What kind of pitfalls are they? Is there something like that when you get into the real estate business? I mean, they obviously may not cover every single thing, but when you go in, how many different real estate businesses or brokers or whatever you call it, different companies have you done real estate with since you first started?
I've worked for this company actually twice. When I first started, and then I tried my hand at some new construction for a production builder, and it didn't quite fit how I want to conduct business. So
Okay.
I ended up coming back here where.
So you've only sold homes in 2 places?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So I've been with Exit Realty Preferred for my entire career, other than about 8 months with a new construction company.
okay. So that says a lot about you left Exit and you went back to Exit. And was it the people, the company, or both? What caused you to go back?
It's not the company at all. It's got nothing to do with the company. It's the people that work there. They were good to me. They were good to me when I left, and they're good to me now that I'm back.
Okay, because Exit is it nationwide?
It's nationwide, yes.
Yeah.
Probably worldwide.
Okay, so what you're talking about, the reason you went back was because of the people in the actual office and the owners. I guess all
Yes.
the whole package of Exit in Prattville, Alabama.
Yeah, take the name out of it. It was 100% everything to do with the people that I worked with there before.
That says a lot because of who you are as a person. So that's pretty powerful. So what is your area? What city or what country? I mean, counties or state? Not state, Alabama, obviously with you, but what's your geographic area you serve?
The Tri-County area, Elmore County, Montgomery, Autauga County, but I'll go anywhere somebody asks me to go. If somebody wants me to help them buy a home in Huntsville, I'll do what I've got to do to make that happen.
So in the state of Alabama, but you got your core area, but you're licensed for the state of Alabama.
Yeah, I can sell a home anywhere in the state of Alabama.
Okay. If somebody just likes you and they like what they're hearing right here, because I hope you'll share this out, not just for me, but once it comes out, you share it out for you, because it's a good, the conversation we're having. Most of the time you probably ain't going to have this specific conversation with everybody. So if you could use it. If I were you, I would use it that way. If I met some people and they considering me to be their real estate agent, I might say, hey, here's the link. You want to learn more about me and who I am, go check this out. So maybe you'll get some value out of it that way. That maybe not why you came on, but it might end up helping you.
Yeah, I'm not a big self promoter or self bragger, but
well, that's one reason I'm glad you come on though, so I get to brag on you, because I do talk to you and I know your character and I know why you helping these people the way that you are, and it's everything I write about in Who's Buying You plus a whole lot more, right? There's a lot of stuff, but you live that stuff. Every time I talk to you, I'm thinking, I don't think it's because you read the book. Maybe it is, but I don't think so. I think it's because you're just aligned with what I'm teaching in that book. So you're a lot of examples of what I talk about.
Yeah, it fits good with how I do it or how I want to do it. So.
And that's awesome. So anybody who is listening to, there's a 30-part podcast where you don't even have to buy the book. You can go out and then listen to me talk about the chapters from the book. And if you go to the YouTube channel, the Blue Collar Leadership YouTube channel, and look under the playlist section, you'll see it's titled, the playlist title, Who's Buying You? And it's separated for you. There's also a lot of other series. If you're into personal growth and leadership development, anybody can go to the YouTube channel. All these are audios that I'm talking about at the moment. There's obviously some videos like this and other things that are on there, but a lot of series, and they're on the podcast too. They're just not separated out and easy to find. There's about 400 episodes on there. So in your career, how many different companies in your career have you worked in? Not just real estate. Just if you had to guess, is it 5 or 6 or 10 or 15 or 20? Or?
Since I've been old enough to pick up a shovel.
Yeah, starting with the Marines. I guess that's the first spot. So from Marines to realtor, how many different organizations you think you worked in?
Maybe 4.
4.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a pretty loyal person, I guess. So
that's awesome. So you worked in the manufacturing industrial world, then you did the motorcycle shop, and real estate and the Marines.
Yeah, I'm 99% of my life has been something mechanical related. So
okay,
I worked for a heavy machine company. I've worked in 2 different factories in industrial maintenance. Worked at a power sports business, and somehow I broke into the white collar world.
You in the white collar world with a blue collar mind, though.
Yeah, that's it.
Rhea said something about that. I stole that. I spun that off from something I've heard her say before, but not about you, just in general, a lot of times. But so I just want to ask you some questions, and then we'll wrap up here in a second. That's why I was asking you how many places you worked. So you worked quite a few places, but how old are you now, Steve?
53.
So you just right behind me. I'll be 55 this year and 54 at the moment. But so you worked quite a while. You may only worked in 4 industries, 4 places, but you've worked with a lot of different leaders, good and bad leaders. What's some traits you would say just from Steve Gaither's point of view? What's some good traits of good leaders, and what's some bad traits of leaders that not so good?
Well, I don't want to tell a company name, but when somebody's trying to get you to do things a certain way because that's what the statistics tell you to do it. Like, hey, you should, when person A walks through the door of your business, you should say A, B, C, and D, and then shift over to this paragraph and then do these things. And that's not what I'm about.
Yeah, yeah. In this Who's Buying You book, I got a chapter in there called "Don't Be a Sales Puppet." That's what you're. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Stop selling and start serving. That's a big one. So.
Stop selling and stop serving. So that causes you not to, because what we talk about, high impact leaders are leaders we want to follow. Low impact leaders, if we haven't developed ourselves where we got options, those are leaders we have to follow. So what's some traits of a leader that people have that cause you to want to follow them? Don't even mean they're the boss. They could be the boss. They may not be the boss. They should be the boss if they're going to have some good character traits, or I should say the boss should have good character traits. But what's character traits in people that cause you to want to follow them?
An open mind and a good listener to start with, because not everything you do, if you do it a certain way, that's not always the best way. Somebody else may have a better way. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It can be different and still get the same thing accomplished. If somebody that's open to letting you do it, as long as the outcome is the same, it really shouldn't matter how it happened.
Yeah, because we're all different. The way I do something may be completely different than the way you would do something, because I'm different. My experience is different. I think different.
But if the outcome, if you can't pick the outcome from the way it was provided, what difference did it make?
It doesn't make any difference unless somebody just wanting to control you, right? So that's good stuff. So you got anything you want to share that I didn't ask you, or anything that was on your mind? Any kind of tip, any kind of wisdom you've learned over your life? Quote, thought?
Don't be afraid to bet on yourself. That's a good one. And it's an Alex Delgado quote. I think it's real estate's not about buying or selling homes or commission checks. It's about representing your client's greatest asset to your client's greatest benefit. That's one of my favorite real estate quotes. I think a lot of people miss that. They get so caught up in in the money that's coming in or that you can make from it, that they neglect the part about you're supposed to be looking out for this guy's best interest, not your commission.
Yeah. If you do all the right stuff, everything else is a byproduct, right? You're gonna make more than enough commission.
Yeah, it comes back.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. And you talked about betting on yourself. And in my book, Blue Collar Leadership Leading from the Front Lines, there's some chapters at the end of that one where I talk about invest in yourself, develop yourself, and ultimately you got to bet on yourself. And that's what you did. You bet on yourself. You still doing it every day, right?
Yeah, I get up every day and do it and try to be better than I was yesterday. So,
well, all right, sir. Well, it's been a privilege to have you on here. If you ain't
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up, and hopefully you can maybe you might have to go ride your bike, get rid of some of the stress you done built up over this hour.
Yeah, I need a paddle boat today. We've got rain all day here. So.
Oh, okay. Well, probably not a good day to ride a bike. Well, all right, Steve. Thank you for investing your time with me and helping me help other people, and hope somebody will reach out to you and you can help them personally. You have a great day, man.
Absolutely. You too. I appreciate it.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast today. And again, if you're listening and you'd like to watch it, go to the Blue Collar Leadership YouTube channel and check it out there. Talk to you next time.
Yes, sir.